right here, I'm at the place where we want to put our apiary. Uh, we are still considering what type of setup that we can use, but I'm deeply convinced that at the end of the day, I would like to have a shade or a house that we are going to put our beehives. But we'll start with something that is cheaper, which is affordable and also effective for us here. Because if you look at my background, you realize that we have got a lot of trees that will provide shade. So this is a place which is around, which is a little bit closer to our home, where we can manage and see what is happening at our beehives. Unlike if we put it away, um, as we are away, all of us that I'm in the village, and what happens now in the village is that most of our fields are not fenced. Um, People just walk around anyway. There is not that privacy in terms of when you harvest your field, when you harvest your field, people just come around crossing. Even they can come closer to your home, crossing even with their dogs during the night, during the day. This is what happens. So we are not much worried about uh, honey poachers. So that's why we were thinking of putting our beehives closer to home. So on this place, this is where I'm suggesting. Let me show you the type of this place. Okay, so this is a place that I'm thinking of putting our beehive. Okay, okay, this is where our home is there. So we want to fence this area to protect it from animals. We have got cattle here. I think you can hear some bells there. They are down there, this cattle. So we want to make sure that they don't cross coming here, disturb bees. Also, we need to make sure that our bees don't interact with the humans. So we want to fence this and probably put some signs so that people will know not to cross the boundaries. So we're going to be changing this setup to make sure that people don't just cross around, so that they don't disturb our bees, and also they may not be attacked by bees, because we know that bees can be very dangerous if they are not managed very well. So we need to make sure that we do it correctly. But before I talk about my Kenyan top bars that I want to put here, I have got some beehive that belongs to my father. He had many beehives, maybe around 10 on this area. Um, we used to harvest it, used to do it himself when we were a little bit young. He taught me to harvest. I was doing it when I was here full time, even when I was at school, coming on holidays, I was doing it also. But the time came when I was not much interested in harvesting. I could come, then I just delay. I'm told go and harvest, then I just delay. Sometimes when I go back, they are not harvested. Was a problem now that we were facing now. Sometimes people could just come and harvest. That are thieves. Yes, and sometimes some beehives could be eaten by termites, right? Lacking inspections. Sometimes you just see it fallen down already, destroyed. And I heard that some of the beehives were taken away from the points they were hanged. Then they are thrown somewhere there after being harvested. So when I came back now, thinking of reviving that project, I just got two beehives, the traditional beehives. Let me show you. This is one of those beehives that my father used to have. So we used to harvest a lot of honey from this beehive. Okay, but now our bees abandoned these beehives, probably for many reasons. As you can see, this one is also affecting, and much of the time when we harvested these hives, um, we could leave them without being closed intactly. But when my father was doing it, when was teaching us, he used to make sure that after harvesting, you could put tightly these wires and put some cow dung here. Maybe cow dung can be mixed with some soil. Then you make sure that it is well closed. Uh, so this side was not supposed to be opened. This side was supposed to be closed very well, right? So the bees could put some what do you call namo here? Maybe a nama. Satruto not panapa. Namo is saying panapa. I see sipo. So what I want to do is let me show you another beehive as I tell you. So I am not starting from zero, right? This project of beekeeping, I am not starting from scratch. Like I have no idea or something that I'm bringing into the village, but this is something that I've been in our family for a long time. My grandfather, NC Makunda, was a beekeeper. Was doing it in his own way. I used to see him straining honey, getting that liquid, going and selling it in Magunje. I don't know other markets that he was selling. I used to see them making a wax, making some candles. He had many beehives in the place that we used to stay there. There were some mountains there. Beehives, they were like all over. And when he came to Ceres from Yadara there, he had many hives there. Even when he died, he left some beehives there. I don't know if they are still there, if they are still maintained. And my father also, from our young age, we used to see my father with some beehives. And even if when we came here, when I was a little bit older, he was doing beekeeping. But now I'm seeing that it was something that was just falling. And using these traditional beehives sometimes may be a challenge, or sometimes it has some limitations. But now we want to bring some improvements. Like I said, that what we want to do is transforming our rural businesses into cash generating units. Our rural homes, we've got a lot of businesses that were taking place, but sometimes they were taking place in a subsistent way. We want to make them operate in a more commercial way. So this is the second hive, right? I told you my father used to put some cow dung mixed with the soil, so that make sure that it closes the the all these openings, right? So now I'm one of the people who made this project falling. So I said, no, I can't start by hanging my Kenyan toe bars here before I make sure that I replace this. So what I want to do is I want to take this down, then I make sure that I clean them, put them some waxy namo imomo, then toudzosera mukoko wedu wakanyatsonamwa mushe mushe, wakanyatsovarwa mushe mushe, tobva tauhenga futi. Unofanira kuti upinde nyuchi, and I expect kuti mukoko iyoyi ndo ichatanga kupinda nyuchi, handiti. Then after ndaisa mikoko iyi, ndo pandichazoisa inini mukoko wangu inini makinye and tobas. Handisi kuda kutanga kuisa mikoko yangu makinye and tobas ndisati ndagadzirisa mikoko yadhedhi ishi. Dhedhi varipo vachitibatsira, saka nda kuitora ise iri 2 ndoenda nayo kumba ndonoicleana, ndoigadzirisa, todzoka tohenga apa. So what it means is it's a continuation of a project that was started by our forefathers. I'm so proud of having such a background. Sometimes we may say our parents said hapana chakatisira kana tichitarisa zvinhu zvinenge zviri cash, because Africans, they used to store their wealth in real things. But I think there was a period where we fall into error, where we love money, where we love papers more than the real wealth, where we love to see our pockets full of cash, full of dollars, full of pounds. We love to see our bank accounts, our mobile balances much inflated with big figures. But sometimes even without real wealth. So it reminds me the time in Zimbabwe in 2008 where many people lost a lot of money. Lost their money. They've got they had a lot of cash, a lot of papers. Then they lost everything. But those people who had land, people who had buildings, people who had gold, people who had precious minerals, different type of precious minerals, the values of those minerals continued to be like that. People who had education, people who had skills, they remained with those skills, with their values. So African parents who left their kids with land, who left their kids with the skills to live and survive, I cherish them, I commend them, and I support that. So now I'm starting my beehive project, but I'm not starting from nowhere. I have got some memories of my grandfather doing this one, and I have the teachings of my father doing that. Even if I research, even if I come to know the modern ways of doing these things, but I know that this is not something that is foreign. Even if I say I'm using the Kenyan top bars, even if I say I'm using the lanthrods, and I'll continue learning from others. So this is the industry that I can say, the generational industry, like what the Israelites did when they went to Egypt. Pharaoh asked um, Joseph about the profession of his brothers, and Joseph said, our foods were mombe, right? So they were given the space that was conducive for for cattle. So that was their profession from generation to generation. So they could do it in a professional way, they could do it in an effective way. So I believe if I learn about beekeeping, look at this one. Rochinonga passage. Chanchakatodona. Saka I cannot leave zvinhu izvi ndozvirasa ndobva ndati ndakutanga zvinyowani. Izvi ndichizvisiya zvakadai. Ndati aiwa daiti tange tareplace izvozvi tozoenderera mberi nekuita zvimwe. This is the continuity, and I can imagine that this is I'm connecting the story. I'm connecting from what my father learned from his father, and my grandfather, how he learned something that he learned from his forefathers. So yeah, so I'm carrying 2 beehives back home, reviving it, right, so that tomorrow I say this is a generational profession. All right, so thank you guys. Let's continue as we, like I said, pamba here asatale bali kwaka chombotambira kumunda first sataita zvekupi. Okay. Right, moto uyo ndoda kushandisa. Alright, saka apa ndinopinda nepamusitiwo pegarden. Okay. Alright. Oh, hey. Apa basa ndi itu tutanda kuti kauri tora zvataitapo izvo kuti mahosipipe edu asakwadze muriwo. Right, saka ndomukoko yedu miviri nezvayaita mukati. Saka muti uyu kuwana wakadai so uyu musango uri rare izvezvizvi nematemerwo akaita miti. So I would love to preserve these ones. Dai zvaitoita kudai muti wairarama for my generations, uite sekudaro tichiona matraditional beehive edu kuti anenge akamira sei. Pamwe pacho paiswa ukuku uswa hwakarolewa hwakamoneredzwa so kuiswa ndove. I will try maybe kutoita izvozvo so that you keep the traditional way, kuti tizoona difference yatenda tichiona tikaharvesta this one toharvesta futi mumwe wacho. Right, tiri kuona malines ayo kai ndo malayerwo anenge akaitwa uchi traditional beehive iyoyi. Right, this is the way that yaitaura kuti ndo yavanoda kuti iite, but nyuchi dzinogona kuti kazhinji kacho dzinoda kufevha kuita se kuita malines akadai. Uyu tinogona kuona ero. Right, uyu futi uyu tiri kuona kuti nyuchi dzedu umo dzaisa futi malines achiteera mukoko kudai. Right, saka izvo zvachaita panapa tichangosiya futi zvakadai, and I believe kuti munomu nyuchi dzichakasika kuita sei kupinda. Mari? So now we are in progress. I replaced the lid. Alright. So this is where our bees will be entering our beehive. So I used a new wire. This one. I'm tying them. We are leaving some openings like this one. We are going to close them. Even here, we are going to put something to close it. But we know that bees will come and do it. But they need to make sure that we have done the part so that so this part will be a big challenge. I'm going to close another using this lid, right? I'm going to put this lid here, but this one, okay, this one, okay, so this one, close it, no problem. Yesh, ndazvirowa ichirovera parwa nesimbi ipapo ndobva patozvimba. Iyi inamwe yatsva saka ndaibata, asi first mukoko wedu wasvika apapa. Right. This is our beehive. Okay, so tadzorera marata plastic, taisa nails, taisa nails pacho. Right, saka ndokubheki uku, saka ndakuti tiise apapa. Right, uyu mutsonzo wawo, ndo muti unonzi mutsonzo, saka ndonoita mumwe chituyo. Process yataita pekutanga apa taDecember vura then tobva tatangidza kudini right. Okay, taubvisa zvese tikwanise kuclean handitika. Yes, plate katisa momorogara zviruma zvoti ndisingade kuti zvidaro. Right, so this is now fixed and intact. Right, so the job that is left now is for me to close these openings. There is something that is worrying me, that from the time that I came here, when I was thinking much about beekeeping, I didn't see any bee. Yes, of course, our beehives have been destroyed there. The bees went out, but I was thinking like maybe there are some bees from our neighbors that may come for foraging on these flowers, especially these mango flowers. Even when we put water there for our chickens, we are not seeing. I have never saw a bee, but here I'm these flies. See, only these flies. So I'm worried now if we are going to get bees so fast, because it seems like this area um, number of bees have dropped down very much. Someone was saying maybe there are some chemicals that are being used in these fields around that may be killing bees, but at the same time also there is no enough inhabitants for bees around this area. So maybe we'll think about relocating bees, putting some catcher box somewhere and bring those bees here, because truly we need our beehives to be colonized very quickly, to have honey so quickly. Okay, nevertheless, let's continue our work.
Karoi kumusha kwa kanaka, minga yedu inogereka, maruva no tumbuka, moyo yevanu yakachena. Karoi a beautiful home, our fields are fruitful, flowers bloom, the hearts of the people are pure. Karoi tisu tinku vakaneru, do tisu tinku kura, shibereko jetu, shinoomeka. Karoi kumusha kwetu, Karoi we are the builders, with love we are growing, our fruits are visible. Karoi our home. Kupasane kulima tinoziba, vanu vedu vese vanu batana, masera ese ari kuitabasa, ukuta ino